Hey guys, today is the third day of my budget go-kart build, and the next step of actually building the project is to tear down the engine. But since that needs more preparation before we just start ripping it apart, I thought that today would be a perfect day to design and plan out how I want the project to turn out. If you haven't watched part 1 or 2 yet, be sure to do so by clicking on the links in the top right corner of your screen. Before we start, be sure to like and subscribe. So when I say I want to build a go-kart, I'm not really thinking of a traditional one. My main design inspiration are the old school race cars from back in the 1910s and 20s, like a cycle car. I made a playlist of a bunch of videos that have examples of what I'm talking about if you want to check that out. But anyway, here's my first sketch of what I want this to look like. Instead of the traditional go-kart style with the tiny wheels and flat body, I want this to have a sleek, rocket-like design with a tapered end and thin wheels with a large diameter. I'm thinking that we have the engine in the rear so that it's easier to transfer the power to the rear wheels. Along with a mid-engine design, we could also easily have the exhaust hook up to the rear fin, along with an exit for air ventilation. Moving towards the front of the go-kart, we have a firewall in between the engine and the operator for obvious reasons, a cockpit for the operator complete with steering, a throttle, a brake, and any other controls that I might need in the future. Moving towards the front view of the go-kart, we have a classic 1910s and 20s radiator look and a wide wheelbase so that it can turn easily without the wheels coming in contact with the body of the vehicle. So that's my overall goal for this project. Now let's move on to some ideas that I have for the inner workings of the vehicle, and what we have yet to figure out for the future. First, we have the throttle. The Briggs & Stratton engine that we are using has a small carburetor attached to an air filter on the side. Here, as you can see, there is this small lever that you can pull. What this does is add more fuel and air to the combustion chamber, which revs up the engine. If we could attach this to a cable to something that is in the cockpit of the vehicle, I might be able to use this as a working throttle. Speaking of cables, we have a bunch of them left over from taking the lawnmower apart. I could use these or similar ones to connect to all of the inner workings of the vehicles. Now for some things that we still have yet to figure out. One thing is a transmission. We were thinking of possibly using a design similar to a bike's with some simple gear changes, but we don't know for sure yet. Another thing that we have yet to figure out is how to effectively and cheaply transfer the power from the engine to the wheels. Since the engine power output is out of the bottom, we have to somehow connect that to the axle that's running horizontally. I'm thinking something like belts or something like that, but we'll have to see that for later. Well, that's pretty much everything that I've been planning for my budget go-kart build. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell to stay updated on this project and other uploads. Thanks!